Welcome back. President-elect Donald Trump making more key cabinet appointments over the weekend. Trump named oil executive Chris Wright for Energy Secretary and Brendan Carr to lead the Federal Communications Commission. Trump has yet to announce his choice for Treasury Secretary. Trump was expected initially to pick either the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, Howard Lutnick, or the CEO of Key Square Management, Scott Bessent. Both have been on this program. Now, new reports are emerging that the 45th, soon-to-be 47th president is also considering former Federal Reserve Governor Kevin Warsh and Apollo Global Management CEO Mark Rowan. Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty also in the running. And the Tennessee senator joins me right now. He's a member of the Senate Banking, Housing, Urban Affairs, Foreign Relations, Appropriations, and Rules Committee. Senator, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Good morning, Maria.
Are you expecting to meet with President Trump this week to discuss the Treasury position?
Maria, there are a number of wonderful choices that the president has for Treasury. I've avoided any speculation about whom that might be. I'm continually in conversations with President Trump and often on matters of the economy that relate to the Treasury. But I'm not engaging in any speculation about who might go into a specific position. I'll say this, though, Maria. He's put some great people in. I'm incredibly pleased with Chris Wright. That sends an incredible message. If you think about our energy security, you think about the geostrategic value of our energy production capabilities, that's a tremendous signal to the marketplace.
Yeah, for sure. And I think President Trump is sending a lot of signals. Putting aside whether or not you're going to consider a role within the Trump administration, Senator, you've done an incredible job representing the people of Tennessee in your Senate seat. So let's put aside the idea that you would leave and join this administration. Give us your take on some of the most important issues facing an incoming Treasury Secretary right now, notwithstanding the $36 trillion in debt that we all talk about every day.
Well, if you think about one of the most incredible legacies that President Trump has from his first administration, it was the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. That's got to be the job number one for the incoming Treasury Secretary, is to get that incredible piece of legislation extended and through. If we don't deal with it, Americans are going to be faced with enormous tax increases. I think President Trump clearly understands the impact of getting his tax package through. He'll need a Treasury Secretary that's going to be capable of working with this legislative branch to get that done. It's going to have an incredible impact on our economy, just as it did back in 2017, incentivizing more investment in America, getting our economy strong again. And it's with a strong economy that we then have the ability to rebuild our military and find ourselves back in a posture from a diplomatic standpoint where the rest of the world respects us again. Our economy is the strongest lever. It's the strongest asset that we have here in America.
Mm-hmm. And you've also done so much work in terms of foreign affairs, having been the ambassador to Japan. The work that you've done in terms of China. I want to get your take in terms of protecting Wall Street's massive underwriting of the CCP. We just did a whole special on underwriting the enemy. And that is specifically looking at the extent to which America underwrites communist China, whether it be these companies that are trading on our exchanges, whether it be allowing the CCP to acquire land in America. There's so many ways. I mean, buying drones from DJI, a Chinese drone maker. There's so many ways that America underwrites the Chinese Communist Party. Do you think that we will see change in that regard, particularly as it relates to these companies that are traded on the U.S. exchanges that don't even follow the same accounting rules that every other publicly traded company follows?
Yeah, Maria, you and I have talked about this before. It's incredible that we allow companies to trade on our stock exchanges that don't follow and abide by the same rules. Our American financial markets are one of the greatest sources of competitive advantage that we possess. We should utilize those to our advantage. And the last thing we should do is allow China to come in under a different rule set and undercut us and abuse those markets. We also have a very robust CFIUS process that's managed by the Treasury Department. I think it needs to be enhanced. It's being looked at right now. But we need to make certain that we're not in the process of allowing companies that do not have our best interests at heart from countries that don't have our best interests at heart to access, again, one of the most incredible financial markets and mechanisms that exist in the world. We need to continue to support and build that marketplace, continue to look at the regulatory constructs here. You know, the Biden administration has so abused regulations in our banking system, trying to impose, ESG and social justice types of initiatives onto our banking system. Clear that out, make us competitive as a nation, and then use it to advance our competitive advantage, not allow other countries like China to abuse it to advance their own advantage.
Yeah, and one of the tools used is sanctions. And I want to ask you about sanctions because I asked Stephen Mnuchin about this. But before I get there, let me get your take on President Biden's meeting with China's President Xi Jinping in Peru over the weekend. Xi said that Beijing is now prepared to work with the incoming Trump administration. At the summit, Biden also awkwardly stood in the back corner of the APEC so-called family photo. Look at this. I mean, Xi stood front and center, right? The world leaders were ordered alphabetically by country, we're told. But, you know, in past APEC family photos, it shows the U.S. president in the center spot. I mean, and I'll never forget the infamous move that President Trump made at another conference, I guess it was NATO, where he elbowed his way all the way to the front. I mean, here, Biden is relegated to the back row. Xi Jinping is front and center in the front row. I mean, this quote-unquote family photo, it speaks volumes, Senator.
It does. The Biden administration has put us in the back seat in a place of weakness. President Trump would have never found himself in that position. They would have never even tried this. Again, I'm looking forward to America stepping back to the fore. You mentioned sanctions. The Biden administration has utterly failed to enforce sanctions. This is why Iran is back in business. This is why Russia has been able to come in and wage war on Ukraine. The Treasury Department needs to come in and impose and enforce the sanctions that are already on the book. That will have an incredible impact in terms of deterrence. President Xi can see this already. This is why he's already taking a conciliatory tone toward President Trump. We need to utilize our economic strength. We need to take, again, the American posture that we deserve on the international stage. President Trump will do just that. We will never see another picture like Joe Biden's weakness there.
Well, Senator, I mean, doesn't this also start with economic strength? I mean, economic strength is national security strength, right? So this is all connected. And now we learned that the Pentagon failed an audit for a 7th audit in a row. Okay? They're unable to account for the nearly $830 billion budget. Are you kidding me? The Undersecretary of Defense Comptroller claims that the department is making progress toward a clean audit in 2028. Oh, really? We're going to wait till 2028 for an audit? I don't think our adversaries across the world are going to wait till 2028 in order to strike and, you know, intimidate the United States. What's wrong with the Pentagon?
You're exactly right, Maria. It's an $824 billion budget. This is an enormous amount of taxpayer funding. And the fact that this administration has allowed them to just go lax is absolutely shocking to me. Our military is at the forefront of major crises around the world. These crises, of course, have been unleashed by the weak posture that the Biden administration has adopted. You've got it right. A strong economy will beget a strong military. We need to have our military operating on strong economic footing. I mean, this is the frustration that President Trump sees when he puts a leader like Pete Hegseth in. The American people want to see somebody come in and stand for strong American leadership. This is feckless, letting these corporations come in, these long procurement programs that don't work. This has to be completely rethought. We need to be thinking about lethality again. The Pentagon has been more worried about their pronouns than they have about our military capability. We need to see strength. The world is begging for it. And again, with a strong economy, we'll have stronger national security, a stronger military, and therefore a stronger diplomatic posture in the world.
Senator, when will the confirmation hearings begin for President Trump's appointments here? Do we have to wait until after the inauguration, or will these hearings begin when you all get back in early January?
No. They should begin when we get back in early January. I want to see us ready and poised to put President Trump's nominees into the job on day one. We've got many challenges facing us as a nation, more than we ever imagined. Joe Biden has weakened this nation like never before. Kamala Harris has weakened us like never before. We should be ready with as many cabinet positions to confirm on the 21st of January as we possibly can.
Will you be voting yes on all of his cabinet nominees?
I certainly expect to be doing that.
All right, Senator. It's great to see you this morning. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much.
Senator Bill Hagerty joining us.